Hi, Bryony Montgomery from the Somatherapy Collective. I created MotherWay after the death of my mother in 2002. When she died, it was quite a difficult transition, quite a difficult time in my life that I just felt that the rug was pulled out from underneath me. My mother and I had a very enmeshed relationship. It wasn't a functional and very maternal relationship. There was a lot of dysfunction and a lot of enmeshment and a lot of codependence. And when she passed, I found myself in a great deep state of depression, despondence, really questioning my own life, whether or not I wanted to even be here, as well as it was a deeper sense of loss that I'd never experienced before. I mean, the mother's death is always significant. When you have a significant caretaker who passes into the next space, it is always a very difficult transition. It's always going to be sticky. But what I noticed was that I had been given no mapping for my grief. I was not given the support and the guidance in how to navigate and move through this really deep, dark, confusing, frightening, and it also had anger, an anger-filled space. It was very much the grief and everything that I felt around my mother's life, my mother's death, who I was, what had gone, what was shifting and changing and transforming. It was in my own lineage and in the culture and in my own familial background, foundations. It was very binary. It was very segmented. It had to be done in a particular way, in a particular sequence. And what I discovered with the death of my mum is that there's no particular way, there's no particular sequence, and that what I needed was a guide. I built myself from that place. I found a guide. I found guides. I found ways in order to map and find a pathway through this deep, dark night of the soul, dismantling patriarchal structures along the way and recalling back my own places and spaces that had been exiled within me and practices and ancestral wisdom that had been ignored, that had been pushed aside in order for this idealized, perfected, patriarchal way of living, which does really pathologize and segment and push into the underground anything that's too difficult, challenging, sticky, anything that cannot be controlled, any part of us that is untethered, wild, that needs to be really expressed is pushed into the underground in the patriarchal culture. So what I did was, when I rebuilt myself back bit by bit, cell by cell, and rebuilt my community, what I did was that I mapped and created pathways and ways to be with my sticky emotions, to be with my anger, to be with my grief, my frustration, this sense of isolation and loss of community, and the grief and death of my mother, as well as the environment that I'd grown up in and all of this, the dysfunction and the abuse and things that I had navigated, in my familial line that had not been tended to. So I created this pathway, MotherWay, I started back in 2009, really creating and carving it out. And I ran MotherWay in 2018, 2019. It was successful. It was amazing. And so I'm bringing it back. It's more comprehensive. It's more deeply held. There's a lot more things that we're moving through in and around what it is to call yourself back into sovereignty, agency, into wholeness, and finding the ways in which your unique expression needs to be grounded and present and here right now. MotherWay has been a fantastic and a great support and guidance and map for any woman that is going through a great transition in life. It could be divorce, it could be menopause, it could be the death of a loved one, it could be the death of your mother, it could be dealing with trauma and abuse from your childhood, it could be hormonal shifts, it could be autoimmune conditions, it can be changing house, it can be any perimenopause. The midwifing of the midlife is just an incredible, rich and deeply wonderful time if transitioned in a way that it's mapped, it's guided, and you go into that deep space of transformation and you're guided out again. That's what I never had when my mother passed. I never had the guidance. I had to find it. I had to seek it in places and spaces around me. I had to seek it through my profession. I had to learn. I had to study. I had to apply the practices. And it was like everything from nutrition and herbs to aromatherapy to body-based practices, now to somatic therapy, feminine embodiment, ritual, meditation, spiritual practice, Reiki, holistic counseling, all of these places and spaces that I drew from and I'm qualified in, I bring into MotherWay. And MotherWay is the map that I created for myself and for other women to use and to be guided through big transitions in their life. Because we have lost the wisdom, we have lost the ancestral wisdom of ritual and of sacred holding and of rites of passage, and just sitting in collaboration with other women and other women who've been through that dark night of the soul, who've been through that flame and have come out the other side, and they're wanting to impart and share their own experience. When we come together, when women move together and come together to tend to woundings in our system, in our community, in our ancestral line, we bring healing, not just to ourselves and our beloveds, but to the world. Women must come together. It's so important for our healing that we move and we collaborate and we share and we actually support each other in a life-centered approach, in a decolonised way, in a dismantling of colonization and patriarchy, and come back to the matriarch, come back to the life-affirming way of being, tending, living, loving, connecting, community, and belonging. And this is what the MotherWay does. The MotherWay is the map back to the self, back to bring the exiled parts back into your whole self, that every part of you is valid, is welcome, and should be celebrated. We need to bring our resources and find our mapping, particularly at this time in the world when there's a polycrisis, ecocide, genocide, scholarcide, femicide. We're talking about like a huge mass systematic approach to humanity through oppression and violence. And the empire is crumbling. It is falling right now. And so in order to meet the times and meet the current polycrisis in the world, the best resource that you're going to have is you, your intuition, your grounding, your capacity to regulate and keep yourself stable so you can support and stabilize and guide the community and your beloveds around you. This is the time of community. This is the time of the feminine. This is the time of collaboration. And this is the time of getting yourself and your resources and everything within yourself in a coherent, collaborative way and starting to bring out the most and find the most powerful resource that you have already pulsating within you. I would love you to join me on this 16-week journey. We kick off on the 20th of September, and we've got live interactive calls, live practice calls, so we can integrate and be with the context in your own personal life, but also communally. You have complete access to me for those 16 weeks. There's also an opportunity for you to actually work one-on-one with me as well. We're going to build a community here. You'll have at-home guided and held practices. Most importantly, what you're going to have is you're going to have a guide, me showing you, sharing, and guiding you through this great transition in your life right now that you might be struggling with or resisting or having all sorts of sticky emotions about that are just creating a lot of havoc, a lot of dis-ease, and a lot of stress, burnout, overwhelm, and strain in your body. And MotherWay can actually bring a great soothing, a groundedness, a foundation, a map that you will use over and over and over again, and a supportive network and system, not just with everything in your body talking to each other and collaborating, but also externally in your community, and a sense of belonging. Because now is the time. Now is the time to step in and start to heal what you need to heal in order to bring yourself back into collaboration with humanity, with life, with belonging, with community, and with connection. I really hope that you can join me.